Hello and welcome back class 8. We are going to continue your third chapter of history, ruling the countryside. In the last video, we have seen that the East India Company became the Nawab of Bengal and they have got the position of Diwan. They became the Diwan of Bengal, and by gaining that position, they had the responsibility as a chief financial administrator of the territory. After some time, they faced crisis in Bengal and there was a need to improve agriculture. So they devised several systems, majorly three systems: permanent settlement system, Mehelwari system and Munro system. We have done all the positives and negatives of these systems. Now, after this, after doing various settlement systems, now the next topic is crops for Europe. What were the major crops that were produced in India for European countries? You can see here the company was trying its best to expand the cultivation of two major crops, that was opium and indigo. Opium was used as a drug in various medicines and cosmetics, as well as indigo was used as a dye for cloth, color dye for cloth, which used to give rich blue color. Apart from these two crops, the British persuaded or forced the cultivators, farmers in various parts of India to produce other crops also. Jute in Bengal, tea in Assam, sugarcane in United Provinces, wheat in Punjab, cotton in Maharashtra and Punjab, and rice in Madras. So you can see here that various products, various crops from different regions were cultivated. And why? Because British wanted the best quality of each crop and wanted to buy at cheap price from here and sell it in their own country at higher price, and their motive was to earn profit. Out of all the crops that British wanted to buy, there was one major crop that had a special place. Let us take a closer look at the story of indigo. Indigo was a crop as a flower which gave a rich blue color and was used in dyes for cloth. Look at these two prints. The first is a Morris cotton print in late 19th century in England, and the other one, the lower one, was a Kalamkari print in 20th century in India. In both the pictures, in both the prints, the blue color is common, the rich blue color is common. And the blue that you see in these prints was produced from a plant called indigo. At that time also, the cloth which was made in England, they used our Indian indigo. From that time only, there was a high demand of Indian indigo in the world market. Not only in Britain, Indian indigo became famous in various other countries. And the main reason behind the good quality of Indian indigo was the location and the fertility of land where it grows. Actually, it is a plant of tropical region, and the climate that was there in India at that time, that was most suitable for its production. That's why British forced Indian farmers to grow more and more indigo so that they can earn higher profits. Some part of indigo produced in India went into the European markets, but that was not sufficient for all the cloth dyers. So they had to depend on the other plant called woad. Woad was a similar plant that gave blue color, but the color of woad plant was not as good as indigo. You will see in the next slide. So in Europe, some requirement was fulfilled by indigo, and some was fulfilled by woad. There was a tough competition between woad and indigo. Now listen one thing very carefully. Woad producers face tough competition from import of indigo from India. They did not want that we should import indigo. Why? Because they wanted more and more sale of their product, that is woad. So sometimes they forced their government to ban the import of indigo. But the high quality and the richness of the blue color not stop indigo to explore the international markets. You can see here difference between the color of woad and indigo. The color from woad was pale and dull, whereas the indigo produced a rich blue color. Therefore, cloth dyers preferred indigo as a dye. And as a result, there was a dramatic expansion of production of indigo. At the same time, in Europe, there was industrialization. In industrialization, there is expansion of industries. More and more industries are being set up. When there was a time of industrialization, there was huge rise in cotton industries also. When cotton industries rises, there is a need of cloth dyes as well. So when industrialization happened in Britain, there was huge production of indigo in our country. You can see here two arrows which shows that in 1788 only 30% of the indigo was sold to Britain from India. Import of indigo by Britain from India. And in the course of around 30 years, 1810, it rose to 95%. And as a result of this increased production of indigo and increase in revenue generating out of this business, many businessmen across the world were attracted towards this. Many traders across the globe started investing in indigo production. Over the years, many company officials left their jobs to look after their indigo business. And attracted by the prospects of high profits, various Scotsmen are the people from Scotland, and Englishmen came to India and became planters. Planters were the people who purchased land and hired farmers and forced them to cultivate indigo. And those who had no money to produce indigo could get loans from company. The East India Company provided loans to them and the banks that were coming up at that time. So you have seen that there was huge demand for indigo. The quality of Indian indigo was so good that it attracted many businessmen across the world. It was highly demanded in the international market. With this, I am ending this video here. Please read the chapter from book. It is very, very important. We will do more about indigo production, its implication, and till then, go through this video again and again. Try to understand, and if you have doubts, please ask.